The ghost of an Afrobeat singer. The night was quiet, too quiet for a city like Lagos. Jidenna, a rising young rapper, lay in his hospital bed, drenched in sweat. The fever had been relentless, and the pain was becoming unbearable. His manager, Tunde, paced nervously by his side. "Don't worry, Jidenna," Tunde said, his voice light with concern. "The nurse is coming with the injection. You will be fine." Jidenna nodded weakly, his body aching from the fever of malaria. He watched as Nurse Kemi, a slim woman with tired eyes, hurried into the room, holding a syringe filled with a milky liquid. "This will help you feel better," Nurse Kemi said, her voice brisk as she prepared the injection. Jidenna barely managed a nod. He felt the cold sting of the needle in his arm, and within seconds, darkness took over. He gasped, clutching his chest, but his cries were cut short. The beeping of the heart monitor slowed to a stop. Jidenna was gone. Tunde stumbled back, eyes wide with shock. "What have you done?" he screamed at the nurse, but it was too late. The rapper who had captivated millions was dead. The news of Jidenna's death spread like wildfire. Fans mourned, and social media buzzed with anger and grief. Some blamed the nurse, others blamed the hospital, and soon the whispers of negligence turned into a storm of controversy. After days of mounting pressure, the authorities ordered Jidenna's body to be exhumed for an autopsy. Tunde watched from the sideline as the grave was opened. "This isn't right," he muttered, feeling a chill run down his spine. The body of the rapper, once full of life, was now just a shell. But disturbing his rest had awakened something far more dangerous. That night, Nurse Kemi tossed and turned in her bed, haunted by nightmares of Jidenna's lifeless eyes staring back at her. She awoke to a chilling whisper in her ear. "Why did you kill me, Kemi?" Kemi sat up with a start, heart racing. She glanced around her room, thought she saw a figure watching her from the window, but it was empty. She tried to brush it off, but as she looked in the mirror, she froze. Jidenna's reflection stared back at her, his eyes hollow and filled with rage. "You took my life," he whispered, his voice echoing through the room. "Now I will take yours." Kemi screamed, stumbling backward, but the haunting didn't stop there. The next morning, she found her hands covered in blood that wasn't hers. She tried to wash it off, but it kept returning, staining her skin and her conscience. One by one, Jidenna's spirit haunted those involved. The doctor who signed off on the autopsy woke up to find Jidenna's song playing on repeat, loud and deafening, even when his speakers were off. Every night, the lyrics would change, accusing him of betrayal and greed. The mortuary attendant, who carelessly handled Jidenna's body, began to see shadows following him everywhere. He heard footsteps behind him, felt cold hands on his shoulders, and no matter how fast he ran, the spirit was always right there. The final target was Mr. Ade, the owner of the record label that had cheated Jidenna out of his royalties. Mr. Ade was sitting in his luxurious office, counting the money he made from Jidenna's hits, when the room suddenly went cold. The lights flickered, and the television turned on by itself, showing footage of Jidenna's last performance. Mr. Ade watched in horror as Jidenna's ghostly figure appeared on the screen, pointing directly at him. "You took my money, you took my life, now it's your turn." Books flew off the shelves. The bundles of money were blown around the room by an invisible wind, and the windows shattered as Jidenna's spirit tore through the room. Mr. Ade fell to his knees, begging for mercy, but Jidenna's haunting was relentless. Mr. Ade's wealth, his power, everything he had built was destroyed in a matter of seconds. The last thing he saw before passing out was Jidenna's face, twisted in anger. After fulfilling his vengeance, Jidenna's spirit finally found peace. The hunting stopped, and the city returned to normal, though the scars of what happened remained. Tunde visited Jidenna's grave one last time, placing a bouquet of flowers on the fresh soil. "I'm sorry, my friend," Tunde whispered, his voice choked with emotion. "Rest now. They got what they deserved." The air around the grave was still, but Tunde could almost feel a sense of calm, as if Jidenna's spirit was finally at peace. The rapper, who had been wronged in life, had found his justice in death, and now his soul could finally move on. This is Scream Time Tales TV.